2 months off because Hamlet is postponed.
Hamlet's postponed. I've got about $12,000 for it. I need another 20. Probably do it in January, February if I get lucky and find the other 20. Next March, I think I'm going up to Ashland as an actor for 7 months.
Wow.
It's a lifetime dream. I'm playing Jason in Medea, which would be really cool if it happens. And I think I'm going to work on my solo show and teach for the next 2 months. The solo show's been invited to Dublin and Florida and San Francisco and Massachusetts.
Wow.
And so I think I'd like to do it in a little tour.
Yeah. Where in Florida?
The Orlando Shakespeare Festival.
Okay.
It's in Orlando. So if I finish it in the next 2 months, I'll try it out again for y'all.
Yes.
See what you guys think.
Absolutely.
We'll probably do it at the Skylight because Gary Grossman invited me to do it there.
It's a great little
What's your-
theater.
Yeah,
Good theater.
down in Vermont, nice
It's
little neighborhood.
nice, yeah.
And I just want to. The next step would be to design it. You know, there's content that I kind of know how it flows now.
Yeah.
About my autobiographical story, my family, and also Mary Sidney and her candidacy for the authorship, and then this metaphysical stuff, which I find really interesting. It has to do with alchemy. Because the whole idea of transforming yourself has to do with picking up messages on what we want to transform into, because when we get a strong idea of what we want to transform into, then we reconfigure around that idea. Hence the role model, or the positive love message, or the heightened bar, or the focus, or the way time disappears when you're really interested in something. So, number one is to really identify what I want to focus on, part of which is my father's story. And then to really understand that there is a hereafter, which I'm beginning to be really convinced of, because I just had a visit from my father who's been dead for 40 years. I'm not even going to talk about that, but that was whack.
Yeah, that was whack.
That was whack. Daddy came by the other day. It's like, oh my God, that's really proof positive that there's a hereafter. So now I have to really think about that. And then just, you know, one-woman shows. What are they? What are they for? How does it help? I know that my students feel that it's very valuable that I go out there and I'm vulnerable and I'm brave and I use my expertise and I, you know, give my message of enlightenment and
then survive at the end.
And survive. Yeah,
Right, survive
surviving
it.
beautifully with a great
Absolutely.
partner, and 1,000 people know me and like me, and it's not difficult. It does get better. And then there is so much to talk about, and we aren't as powerful as we should be, or we could get stuff done.
As women?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of irritated with this.
Yeah.
Seriously, I am.
1%. Like, what are we doing? So it's kind of like the Democrats. We're just too divisive. We don't find all the agreeing points. We find all our disagreeing points. I know I'm a Democrat. I'm just saying it's hard when everybody's so divisive that they can't even support the president. It's like, who do you think is going to do this? You have to actually focus on who's in charge, and you have to support your leaders.
I
or
think
become one yourself.
people
But the commenting is too much.
people think too hard. They don't have empathy for others. They don't use their imagination. Like, for instance, what if I was that person going through that? Like the whole abortion thing. You know, for men and women to tell another woman what she can and can't do is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You know, and the arguments they lay on top of it, you know, biblical or it's murder, this and that.
So I can tell it's you that has to make the choice.
Exactly.
Yes.
You've walked a mile in that woman's shoes.
The chat room has requested one more case, maybe something from Hamlet. Could you give us a little
Hamlet?
something?
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing end, to die. To sleep, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished to die, to sleep. To sleep. Perchance to dream, aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life, for who would bear the whips and scorns of time? The oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns the patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietest make with a bare body. Who would these fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death? The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns puzzles the brain, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of, thus conscience doth make cowards of us all. And thus the native hue of resolutions sickly o'er with a pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment with this regard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action.
I will have it right there.
It's fantastic.
Did we cover enough gender, sex stuff? Because, we're supposed to talk about sex on the couch.
Yeah.
Sex on the couch.
Sex. Well,
This was an indulgent evening for us.
It's very indulgent, and I love it. It's wonderfully
We
indulgent.
have our own show. We can
It's-
have our own.
Yeah, it's like having dark chocolate all the time. It's very indulgent. How has doing Shakespeare influenced who you are as a woman? Do you see yourself as a feminist? Do you see yourself?
I see myself as a humanist. I think it's very sexy. So that's a different thing. It's very titillating to have that kind of power over people. Very rock star. Gives you a rock star thing out. Like going on stage and playing guys and having straight girls fall over you. It's like, why? But it happens all the time. They just like, bang, every time. That's the guy I want. I want the girl who knows how to do the guy thing. Every time. That was odd. I didn't know that. And then this sort of shit-eating grin, I'm a rock star thing, which is kind of like, I played that for years, like 15 years until my partner now, Michelle Berryhill, who I've been with for 5 years, she's not into the whole actor thing. Not into actors, and girls flirting backstage is a bad idea as far as she's concerned. It just was my whole truck and trade before. It was just like hilarious to have the boys and the girls. We're all girls, but we had our dressing rooms and our panache and our charisma and our bravado. And I really had to break it down on the level of, is this my work or am I just behaving badly?
So you're like the Gene Simmons of drag kings? Is that like,
What does that mean?
you're the Gene Simmons of drag kings? Gene Simmons allegedly says he had sex with like 3,000 women or something.
In his mind.
Yeah, I know. If you see or meet Gene Simmons, you're like, ew.
Yeah.
But that's the rock star thing. He probably did that a lot. I mean, an average of a couple hundred a year,
Well, I'm just saying I don't do that, but in my mind I can have whatever I want. In my world, it's made apparent that I can have what I want, even if we're just kidding. So there's that dream of I can have anybody and anybody I want, whenever I want, which is just a point of view. I don't want all of that, obviously, that's not me. But there was that sense of being a celebrity for something niche-oriented that I imagine was just like the boys who played girls experienced back in Shakespeare's time. Because the person who breaks out of the box is the hero. No matter which story you're looking at, whether it's Persephone coming out of Hades, do you know what I mean? Or, Rapunzel getting out of the tower, you still want to see the girl get out. And the box is the coffin of the gender box now. Even now, if I wanted to be a journalist, I'd be the cold bitch journalist. Do you know?
Right.
Because you've got Rosalind Russell, and then you've got the girls in the pants, and then you've got, the non-gendered bunch of people in jeans. So you lose your, I don't know, it'd be interesting. I'm probably going to go to New York next month just to look at femininity. But for my work, I would come through the humors and play water, through the element of water, as opposed to fire or a metal or earth or air. Because there's something fluid about water that I'm on about metaphysically that I think I resist because one doesn't want to be too malleable as a citizen. One wants to think independently. And as a result, I think I've overly masculinized some of my choices about how do you resist all the subliminal marketing in every single thing that we see about who we're supposed to be when we know clearly that they're selling us Marlboros, and
Right.
you can see the Marlboros, and we're still thinking, I need a cigarette, and I don't even smoke. Do you know? You see it,
Yeah.
you see the manipulation, you know that you're being manipulated, and yet it's so difficult to comb all of that out of your identity and find out who you essentially are. So, that's why I think the essential work of playing is good, because then you realize what a puppet you are every day anyway. And ultimately you have to direct your own thoughts, and you're going to have to figure out which thoughts are yours, and who is you.
Mhm.
Is it the witness who's thinking about you, thinking about the feeling that you're having? You know, it's like who's having the
That
what feeling?
spectator.
Yeah, you know, which
yeah.
we could call the soul, or the secretary, or the brain, or the super id. You can call it whatever, but we're all split into a couple layers, I think.
Absolutely.
If not body, mind, and spirit, call it what you will. But for me, I've been able to separate body, mind, and spirit well enough to call those three things worlds that I'm familiar with. And as an actor, you get to train your body and open it up for certain channelings that come through you if you don't resist them. Which with the Shakespeare plays, there's so many entities attached to all those words that you just get a whole lot of helpers. Which is like, let me just help you with this word, because I played it in 1575. It goes really well this way. And they're all like, going, all right, we want to play. There's just a lot of people back in the old Actors Tavern
Yeah.
that like to come on down to the planet. You know, it seems like, I don't know, it feels like a big tribe.
People do need to learn more theater and take theater classes.
Absolutely.
It's great for the imagination. You want to, like, we all played in our imaginations when we were kids, but of course now the kids are all doing this stuff with their thumbs, and we're not quite sure if they're doing what we used to do, which we thought was so healthy, building forts and running through nature. We thought nature was a good teacher. Not a lot of kids are having all that happen now.
Yep.
So we know how we feel about that, but you know, at least
What's-
through
and
the
it's
internal
now-
landscape you can play.
It's now LARPing. LARP. Live action
Live action
role
role
play.
Yeah, but at least you're outside, yeah. I mean, play, which
But
is...
it's like this thing. You know, it's now its
a
own
program.
thing to do this. You know,
Is it
do
more
live
serious
action
than
role
D&D?
play. Well, it used to D&D, but it's you know, it's this very
Structured.
very structured. It's much more structured, and I think what people don't get is that although play has to have some sort of structure, it also has to have a lack of structure.
Yeah, and that's why we love Shakespeare, because there's so many rules about the structure of the verse, and yet if you're not playing it sexually, imaginatively, metaphysically, personally, psychologically, politically, if you're not playing in those realms, who cares? Then it's
Right, you're
museum
just saying
piece.
words.
Yeah, so we can read
That
that.
no one can understand.
Right, exactly. Archaic language.
Right, but it's when you can embody that and play with it and do things with it. Because that's one of the things I think is wonderful about watching you and watching your company is less than 10 minutes in, I'm not listening to Shakespeare.
It feels like you can apprehend the meaning.
I've got it. I'm not listening to Shakespeare. I'm not picking it apart. I understand that what you just said was funny. I understand that what you just said was very emotional. And I'm not translating in my head anymore. And I think it's because you and the other actors in the company, one, you know what you're saying. Two, you know how to say it.
Right,
And you're embodying it. So you're not just spitting lines out.
right. Yeah, the body really gets involved, the
Yeah.
belly mind,
Yeah, absolutely.
not just the head mind. Yeah, I think we'd spend a lot of time training each other to make sure that the words are really full with their original integrity, plus, and then some. What have
And
you
then
got?
some, yeah.
What have you got for this word that we've never seen before?
Right.
Which, you know, is wonderful. So that's really fun, and it's great for everybody to play and to practice listening and talking.
Absolutely.
It sounds like it's just an excellent company, whether or not it's all women, you know?
Well, we did get that reputation for being an excellent company. And I don't think it's unimportant that it's been all women, or that it's not been all white. I think that has made a big difference somehow in the legacy. In terms of fundraising, I'll continue to do the best I can, but there is a lot of legacy work already done.
Why can't David Geffen just come by and drop some money on you guys? You know? All these stinking banners hanging up in Hollywood with whoever. The guy from Sopranos and these other people in their play. And
Well, and then
I'm so cynical now about
we can
Hollywood
also
and
make
theater.
it easier. We can make it smaller. That's the only thing we can do. We can make it even smaller.
But
But,
we're
you
too
know, we're all
small
working
enough.
for free as it is.
I know, see?
Right.
And you guys want to see some good costumes, and you want to see some great lighting.
And
And it needs
it's
publicity so people
appropriate-
can get there.
And it's appropriate that you be paid for what you do.
Yeah, so all of that together.
At least while we continue to live in a world that depends on a monetary economy, which we do, and will probably continue for quite some time. That's not going to stop anytime soon. That means that actors need to be paid for what they're giving to people, just as educators need to be paid for what they're providing, and just as, healthcare people need to be paid for what they're providing. And as long as we live in that kind of economic society, it's very appropriate that you get paid for what you do.
Yeah.
Because it certainly didn't come to you for free.
It's much easier when we get paid.
Sure.
It's much easier to live. However, globally, we're doing just fine.
Much better than poor in America.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, but what about the arts? I mean, I know, as people, we're fine, but the arts.
Well, no, I think we should have funding for the arts, and I think there should be health care, and I don't think the military should be so overfunded, and I do think we should all have windmills and solar panels on our buildings. I mean, certain things seem really obvious to me that aren't as profitable as other things are. And profit's still running a materialist. You could pretty much guess that capitalists would go for the most profitable ideas, which is the problem with our society. We're capitalists, and that's not good, because the stuff that sells the most is crap.
Yeah.
That's the stuff you get the market. You get 90% of your money back on cheap crap that you import from China. But, it's not helping anybody. So, anyway, we'll just make more art. Thank you for making art tonight.
We should make more art.
I'm so
Before we get all
depressed.
depressed.
2 days ago, a friend of mine teaches at a performing arts high school. It's like, I need help costuming Little Shop of Horrors. I don't even have the money to help you, my friend. I don't even have the gas money to get to you. Let me find you some stuff on the internet. Let's see what we can do.
Contact North Hollywood High School, because they did Little Shop of Horrors, and they might have some stuff they can learn.
Okay, go tell them that. Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is
It was a
school
great production.
that probably
and,
had more money than other schools.
and my daughter was in the production and had a wonderful time.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's her favorite.
Wow.
Right.
Sister. So yeah, contact them.
Okay.
See if they can lend out.
That is
Lend out.
good
See?
tip.
You can do it. All right, we have to get wrapped up. I want to thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So
Thanks for
much.
having me.
Wonderful
Nice
having
meeting you guys again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Bring me
please,
in.
please check out Lisa Wolpe online. Go to the Los Angeles Women Shakespeare Company, lawsc.net. Check out their work. Look at the YouTube videos that are up there. We had tried to see if we could display them during the show, and it just wouldn't work because YouTube doesn't play nice with others. But whenever you get to see her and the rest of the company, see it, because it's just amazing. It will absolutely transform you. It's fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So much. Yay.
Next dates?
We don't know. We're
Someone's turning in
Well,
a
no,
thesis.
yeah, I'm busy. So I won't be around. We're not doing our second show for this month. We're not going to be on for April 26th. You're going to be out of town.
I'm
and
celebrating
not
Jesus.
in my head. We're going to be gone. But we will be back in May, the second and fourth Tuesday night in May, whatever those dates are. We're going to be doing that. And the center is actually on April 27th. We're teaching a female sexuality class through creativesexuality.org at 1 o'clock Pacific time.
That's
So-
the tagline about vulvas.
Yeah, that's it. It's everything you ever wanted to know about vulvas. So if you have a vulva, want a vulva, want to play with a vulva,
Don't
take
know
the
what that
class.
is.
And if you
It's a
don't
great- it's a
know
great
what
car.
and if you don't know what a vulva is, you need to take the class. So hopefully you will sign in and take that class. It's a live online class. It's very cool.
Like
So thank you
webcam?
guys. Yes, it's a
Sexy.
webcam.
Good use for the
You
webcam.
will not see my vulva. To make that clear. But you will see vulvas. So that's the deal. But thank you guys very much, and we will see you back. And we'll see you in May.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.